And welcome back, everybody, to another exciting edition of Manga Bros. Little switch up on the schedule, but don't worry, we got you. Today, we're doing a very special episode of a manga themed episode of Omnibros Live. We switched things around because I was not aware that Riley was not going to be able to make the show tomorrow. So we moved it up a date. And then tomorrow, it'll be a media night / comic book talk with Jess, Lou. Maybe I'll jump in, all that fun stuff. So we're going to talk some solicits and, of course, questions and answers with whatever you guys want to ask. It could be about anything. It could be about taxes, figures, statues.
Please don't ask about taxes.
Real estate. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we'll chat it up a little bit. So thank you to everybody tuning in. It's your boy Gio here from A Week in Geekdom. Sorry, and I'm joined by the awesome Omnibus Collector. Riley, how you doing, man?
Doing well, doing good, doing great, doing good.
Awesome sauce. And for everybody watching, let me remind you that this episode, of course, is sponsored by the folks at InStockTrades.com. Your home for all things collected editions. And you know what? Manga too, because it's a manga night. And if you want to get all the manga that we're going to talk about tonight, they will be out on InStock Trades. You can find them there. InStockTrades.com, your home for all things collected editions, whether it be an omnibus, manga, trade paperback, hardcover, whatever it may be, you get it there. Up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts tack on an extra 2% to that. Fantastic customer service and wonderful packaging at InStock Trades, the official sponsor of Omnibros Live here on the Omnibus Collectors Network. Yeah, baby. So,
yes, sir. So there's been some announcements.
A lot of announcements. Actually, today we had 4 new announcements. And one, when I saw it earlier, I just had a big old laugh because I remembered about a purchase you made. Mm-hmm. Regarding one of these solicits. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you have that one queued up so we can throw it up?
Yeah, we can do that first. We can do Seven Seas.
Okay.
The collector wants to talk about JLA. We'll talk about that after we're done with
I have like one thing to say about that, which I'm crossing my fingers that I'm right about it. But before we get there, I will say I've never been more happy to be wrong about something, because I was amongst many people saying there was no chance that was ever going to get reprinted. So I'm very happy to eat crow on that one.
Yeah, I remember, I think all of us were saying it's a little bit too soon for that reprint to happen.
And I'm glad that it's happening from we'll go ahead and talk about it right now. I'm glad that it's happening from Hero Initiative, like they're the ones that are backing it and stuff, because then that means like it does go to the charity and whatnot. And Perez actually is, I believe, a founding member of the initiative.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's good. I'm glad that it's happening there. I'm glad that it's happening, period. I've again never been happier to be wrong about something. Further, so the information that we have about it is that it's 7,000 copies being distributed exclusively by Diamond, which that's kind of different since DC Marvel hasn't entirely left Diamond. Shops can still order from Diamond some Marvel books, but DC completely left Diamond, as was pretty widely known back in April of 2020. To go off and make Lunar and then the other stuff that didn't work out. But this is only through Diamond, which means that it's going to be direct market exclusive. That means that only comic shops, online comic retailers and comic shops, but not any bookstores like Books A Million or Barnes & Noble will be able to carry this one. Now, here's the extra tidbit of information that as I was looking at this, I realized a couple of things that take all of this with a major grain of salt. But the title of the book from the distributor, it is listed as let me grab it real quick.
Yeah.
It is listed as JLA Avengers TP Hero Initiative VAR variant. So I was like, why is it listed as variant? Now, usually many people who collect comics and know comics might know this, but if a book has a variant cover, the 2 variant covers will usually have a product code or an item code that is 1 digit off. So the item code for this one is JAN228074. That's the number that you'd want to give your retailer if you're asking a comic shop to like order it from Diamond. That's the number that they would use. I was curious and I looked up item code JAN228075. Nothing. There is nothing listed under that. There's something at 228073. It's I think a near automata or whatever figurine, and then there's stuff for 228075 and beyond. But the ones beyond are like, I think it was like statuette or something for the new Doctor Strange movie. So they're recent solicitations, but there's nothing for that item right next to this one. So it leads me to believe there's a pretty strong possibility that another cover is going to be revealed soon, and that's going to be listed, and either it's going to have, I would assume, more copies available. It's going to be more widely available than this one, limited to 7,000. I would hope so, because that allows for more proceeds to be collected from this in-demand book that can then be distributed to the Hero Initiative and possibly to Perez's family, as they might need this with his situation and stuff. So that's what I have to say on that one. That's the information that, again, take it with a grain of salt, but that I gathered, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'm correct, because those numbers, 7,000 is a decent sized number when it comes to like an omnibus or something, but for a paperback that's as in demand as this, 7,000 is like nothing. So again, fingers are crossed that is actually true.
Yeah, because if they just leave it at 7,000, I'm not gonna get it. We're not gonna get it.
Yeah, the chances of one of us getting it is extremely small, and it does also depend on how allocations wind up working, because basically retailers will put in orders with the distributor, and let's say like your local comic shop orders 10 copies. Depending on what happens, Diamond can go and say like, hey, well, we had to reallocate stuff, and for you we can only provide 2 out of those 10 copies. Now a larger online retailer like IST or other online retailers, they might put in an order for 100, 200, however many 100 copies, and they might only be given 20 or something. So it just depends on how Diamond decides to allocate those orders.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard if they're going to make it available on DCBS for pre-order. But the thing about that also, and the reason why like I'm unsure they will, is because literally the final order cutoff date is the 21st of this month, and the estimated ship date is the 16th of next month. So there's like 0 time for them to do a turnaround on pre-orders and stuff.
Yeah.
But if the DCBS conglomerate umbrella of companies is able to get any copies, I would imagine personally that it would go onto IST, but that's if they're able to get copies. And we've seen what happens with like allocated books in the past. In the recent past, Boom Studios hardcovers for Something is Killing the Children, and Once in Future, the slipcase editions, those got pretty iffy. Anyway,
I think what could happen, it sells out and there's enough demand where they do a second batch later on. That could also be a thing. We'll see.
Yeah, very up in the air. And since this is such a different thing, it's not an item that's like anything else that we're seeing published anytime recently or anytime soon thereafter.
Yeah.
This is, to use no other better term, unprecedented. So it's hard to really predict exactly what will happen. If I was to make a hope for what could happen from this, it would be that they see so much success with this, and they wind up teaming up again and doing new collections of like the crossover, whatever they called those, crossover classics and amalgam universe stuff. That's like a pipe dream. even if this is happening,
Yeah.
that's still a pipe dream. But something like this
Mhm.
happening makes that pipe dream just a little bit more palpable.
Yeah.
Man, I'm out of water.
We'll see. So hopefully, the collector, we satisfied your need for a quick discussion about JLA Avengers. More on that tomorrow because Jess wants to talk about it.
Yes, he
We'll be on
does.
tomorrow.
I told
So
I told Jess all that information that I just talked to you guys about with the product codes, and told him like, if you want to talk about it, you can just mention my stuff tomorrow.
yeah,
So he might be repeating exactly what I just said.
it's okay because different audiences. We're good. But speaking of audiences, thank you to anybody that's joining in now. We're going to go over some solicits, some really cool previews that are coming out. We'll get to some questions here in the chat in a bit. Let's start with Seven Seas with their Wednesday announcements.
Every Wednesday, right?
Every Wednesday, I have them. I have last week's. If you want to see those, because I don't think we talked about them.
Well, let's not, because the people who know. Let's drop the one that we were kind of alluding at first.
Yeah.
I don't want to like keep people in anticipation. So yeah, Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko is getting an official omnibus release. I didn't read the entire thing, so I don't know. I just 5 large trim. I thought it was going to be 7. Yeah. So 5 large trim omnibus editions. I don't know what the trim size is going to be. $24.99 USA, $32.99 Canadian is going to be the price on those, and they start coming out in August. So this, I think I've talked about it on here. I just don't really mention it on my channel. But I do have like the self-printed editions of that book that I found randomly on eBay one day.
I think you showed them off one day on one episode or something. Yeah. I don't know.
They're really like well put together books. So I'm not like upset or anything like, dang it, I spent, because I honestly did not spend much on that. I think it was like $40 or something for the entire set. Yeah. So like I'm honestly, I'm gonna buy these because I want to support the industry, like and buy the physical official release and stuff. But I just thought it was really funny, and like so many people, you guys on here are the only people that I've talked to about like those books that I got. I didn't mention it on my channel. I didn't mention it on like TikTok or anything. Yeah. So a lot of people on TikTok are constantly hounding me about like, where did you get those? How did you get those? What the hell are those? I always just ignore the comments. And then today someone alerted me and said like YKK officially being released by Seven Seas. And I was like, oh, nice. That's awesome. Finally, people will stop caring about where I got my self prints from.
Yeah. So if you guys are curious, this manga, this critically acclaimed classic manga, it also had an anime. It's about an android running a coffee shop in a slowly dying Japan. Set hundreds of years in the future after an environmental catastrophe, Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko, also known as Yokohama Shopping Log, centers on the simple life of Alpha, an android who runs a small coffee shop in coastal Japan. Alpha stands witness to chronicle the end of humanity's days with coffee, a slice of watermelon, and the sound of her moon guitar backed by distant seagulls. Quiet and bittersweet, this tale is about the melancholy beauty that can be found even as the end approaches. So the entire story combined into oversized 5-volume set, but it says right here it will be available August 2022 for $25, the first omnibus, in 5 large trim editions. So I think they'll be around the size of the like the seven Deadly Sins omnibus, that type of deal. I think that's what they're going to do.
Either that or possibly slightly larger, because when I looked up the trim size when Tokyo Revengers was announced, which that, by the way, got pushed back to July because they said overwhelming demand. They had to print copies. The trim size for that was slightly bigger than the trim size of like the Viz Signature or Kodansha books, like Seven Deadly Sins omnibus editions. So these are looking like really like review self-print versus 7C. That would be funny. The price on that is really good because the original series was 14 total volumes.
Yeah.
It's going to be released in 5 volumes, which means it'll be like about 3 in 1 per volume, and it's $24.99, which is really good prices
It's a good
for
deal. Yeah.
oversized and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm like, y'all are like live in real time seeing me slowly have like Seven Seas buy my favor with their recent solicitations, because like seriously, at least once a month now for the past several months, they've been doing something where I'm like, you guys, you're doing the right things.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised and very happy. And again, like I said about JLA Avengers, I'm happy to eat crow when it comes to something like this. Like maybe all my like shit talking of Seven Seas went, like they took it personally. They're waiting
They
for that
stuck to
principle, so
reforming themselves.
yeah. But I think like in general, I've mentioned before, their solicitation and sale of so many uh like very, what's the way to say it, like very niche books that are not going to appeal to a huge wide crowd, I think has given them enough of a revenue stream to where they can start affording pricier licenses like this one from like
Yeah.
Kodansha. Like what was the other, there was another recent Kodansha series I think that they licensed. I don't remember.
Uh,
I know they did that one that you were looking forward to, and that's a Shueisha series. Oh, well, Tokyo Revengers is Kodansha.
Tokyo Revengers and oh my gosh, I'm looking at my email here because um, they email all that stuff to me. The Girl from the Other Side.
Yeah, and that's getting those nice hardcovers.
Yeah. And the last announcements that we talked about included Kemono Jihen, which
Yep,
is the yokai themed series.
that is it.
So good for them. Also, yeah, I wasn't going to mention it, but thank you for bringing it up. Tokyo Revengers got pushed back to July, was it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the last thing they said. They sent out a notice, push back to July because they have to print more copies due to the overwhelming demand.
that's great.
Um,
Nobody can complain because there will be enough copies for everybody. So chill, everybody. Here's the next announcement from today.
and not long before I jumped on here, I saw a friend of mine on TikTok actually like crying about how excited they were about YKK getting announced. And Seven Seas was like, we're very happy. Like they commented and said, we're very happy to make you so happy.
So here is Yakuza Fiance, Reis Wataninga. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna continue reading that. This critically acclaimed romantic crime drama, a Yakuza granddaughter is sent from Osaka to marry the grandson of a rival family in Tokyo. Yoshino grew up as the Yakuza princess of the Osaka Somei crime family. Everyone left her alone due to her sharp gaze and mobster ties. But when her grandfather signs a truce with the Tokyo based Miyama crime family, she's offered for betrothal? Betrothal? I don't know how to say that. Sorry. To the Miyama leader's grandson, Kirishima. This is the first time I'm reading this. At first, Kirishima seems amiable and polite, but when he shows his dark side, he proves to be more disturbing than any gangster Yoshino has ever met. This engagement is sure to be a wild ride for a tough Yakuza princess and her twisted Yakuza prince. First edition will be released in November of this year for $15 in single large trim editions.
I saw that where it says large trim, and I think that's awesome. They're, because one of my other complaints about their releases is that they often do the smaller trims. Not just that they do smaller trims than the standard size from like Viz, but that they're pricey. Like they cost like 12, $13, even though they're smaller volume. So it's very cool to see $15 for a larger trim book.
Oh yeah, definitely. It seems to be the way to go these days with
Yeah.
large trim.
I think it brings a little bit of prestige to the series, like when you present it in the larger format like that.
Yeah. And closer to the original art.
Yes, because there's so few. Someone commented on one of my, I don't remember which one of my videos on my channel. It was my top 10 ongoing that I posted about a month ago. And when I was talking about Dye Dark and the smaller trim size, they were like, that small trim size is the same as the size that it, like the volumes are in Japan, rather than them blowing the artwork up. And I responded and said, they're not blowing it up. Like, it's getting closer to the size that it was published in. The original size is the same as like a single issue of a Marvel or DC comic.
If anything, Japan likes to scale things down from the original, because the market there prefers smaller
pocket size
things. So
and that's like the standard tankobon size is not even like there's, what is it called, bunkoban, which are like even smaller than that.
Yes. I just find it funny because I saw somebody living in Japan and they showed off their manga collection, and the books are so tiny compared to everything that we own stateside. It's pretty funny.
I have seen some people outside of the States mention like that they're jealous sometimes of the bigger formats that we have.
Yeah, especially the deluxe hardcovers from Dark Horse, because those are massive. So the next title that we got here for you guys is Seven Seas has licensed My Repair Skill Became a Versatile Cheat, so I think I'll open a weapon shop. That's a really long title. My Repair Skill Became a Versatile Cheat, so I think I'll open a weapon shop by Ginga Hoshikawa, Yukimi Enoki, and Nemusuke. A plucky adventurer finds his true calling with crafting in this twist on a dungeon crawl fantasy. It's hard for Luke to make a name for himself as an adventurer, especially when he's perpetually low ranked and only possesses the skill of repair. But when Luke abandoned by his party, uses that same repair skill to escape a dangerous dungeon, the skill levels up with him and a new world of possibilities opens up. Maybe he doesn't want to risk his life adventuring at all. Maybe he can open a weapons shop where repair empowers other warriors instead. Will this be the start of a peaceful new life or a prequel to Unexpected Trouble? The first edition will be released for the first time in August for $12.99 in single volume editions. Now, not necessarily my thing, and I dislike that they're using video game terminology for a fantasy story. I really do not like that. Sorry. To me, it cheapens the story, especially when they do it in isekai and they have like in-menu access and all that. I've never liked that at all.
Yeah, that did throw me off. As much as I enjoy reading, what's it called, Solo Leveling, that's kind of odd to me. That
why would that world have that gaming system? I don't know. If it's just a straightforward fantasy and they go in and he has that natural ability to use it, because I'm pretty sure once you start reading it, he's going to say, he's going to call out the name like repair and start doing stuff and like they do in all the freaking isekai.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
All right, what's the next one?
The next one is here we go. Seven Seas is excited to announce the license acquisition of the manga series Momo, the Blood Taker by Akira Sugito, a hard-boiled and supernatural murder mystery from the creator of Boku Girl. Washed-up Tokyo detective Mikogami Keiji is investigating a series of murders where the victims have been torn apart and drained of all blood. Could these grisly new killings be related to the decade-old unsolved murder of the woman he loved? As he renews his vow to find the creature that killed her, he has no idea he's being stalked by a silver-haired girl with secrets of her own. Quicker than you can say vampire, Mikogami finds himself embroiled in a frightening conspiracy with actual monsters, but he'll do whatever it takes in his quest for revenge. Momo the Blood Taker Volume 1 will be released in August 2022 for $14 in single volume editions.
Cool.
All
right, so Viz had something like 19 new announcements, including their digital stuff.
Yes.
And I
Let
made a video
me
about
share
this.
their Twitter.
I did make a video about those on my channel, talking about what they are and kind of my levels of excitement for each of those, but can speak a little more candidly.
Yeah.
Here.
Also, Viz needs to put out friggin' press releases because I don't like scrolling through Twitter on this. Seriously, it's 2022, guys. Viz announcement: the creators and editors behind the world's blah 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 Shonen Jump manga share the tricks, advice, and secrets in the Shonen Jump Guide to Making Manga, featuring commentary from Eiichiro Oda, Tite Kubo, Kohei Hirokoshi, and many more. Releases fall 2022. It's an awful cover, but I think it's a really cool idea. I do want to check it out.
There's a lot of people who will be excited about stuff like this, especially because right now, creating like webtoons and web manga type stuff has become a lot more popular and like available to people. I think something like this could help to inspire people and give them kind of a little more guidance on how to produce their own series. Also give you just a little look behind the scenes on some stuff, which is always cool.
Yeah. So the first actual announcement.
They also they had the Demon Slayer novels.
Yeah.
Those were it's 3 novels that are going to be released, and each of the 3 novels
I think
it should be below. It should have been the very first one. But each of the 3 novels, if I'm not mistaken,
there we go,
is set before the events of the original series.
Yeah.
Or at least to the side of it or whatever. So it's related. So fans of the series who are also fans of light novels can go ahead and pick those 3 up.
I don't want to spoil what this cover is, the first one, but I want to check that out of the 3 because I love that, and I know what it is. But it's a spoiler if I say what it is.
All right, move on to the what is the that one. Romantic.
When gamer Anzu gets transported to a world of hot guys, it's like she's in a dream, someone else's dream. The full-color adventure of Romantic Killer by Wataru Momose drops fall 2022.
So that's
pretty cool that it's a full-color manga.
Yeah, that was what I was. It's very interesting. Full color. Also, it's only 4 volumes, so if you want to check it out, it's not a huge commitment. And then further, I don't know if they officially said this. Someone commented to me somewhere that this was going to be under the Shoujo Beat label. It's a shonen or seinen title, so it'll be interesting if they put it under that label, because it'll be interesting to note whether it sells worse because of that. Because a lot of titles, like people have an inherent draw away from shoujo for whatever reason. I've been like kind of lightly commenting on it lately, and that's something that if that's true, if what that person said is true, if this is going to be labeled under Shoujo Beat, it will be interesting to see whether or not that impacts sales at all on this title, because for all intents and purposes, a full color manga should do pretty well. It's not too common, and this looks like a fun series.
Plus people are weird online, because I see the comments, I read the comments, and the stuff that they're complaining about, it's pretty funny. I'll talk about that later with one of the announcements. The next one here is 4 male friends support each other through the colorful ups and downs of teenage love. Rainbow Days by Minami Mizuno drops fall 2022. I know nothing of this, but it sounds pretty neat.
I looked into it. So this was the only shoujo announcement they had, which was odd. There was only one shoujo and one josei here. Rainbow Days, I believe it was adapted as an anime recently. It ended several years ago, so people were kind of surprised that they announced it now. I believe it had a total of 14 volumes, and it focuses on this dude. I'm guessing it's this dude got dumped, and he finds that he's fallen in love with a new girl or another girl that's in their class, and so his other 3 friends are basically kind of pushing him to confess to that girl. That's the basic plot that I read. It sounds pretty fun. It sounds like something that like I feel like I like probably any guy can like relate to, going back to their teenage years and stuff that like they went through during school, like, you know, having crushes and trying to like, I don't know, like admit or whatever to them like your feelings and be like, you want to go out, just to be told like, I'd rather just be your friend.
Oh man. Yeah. So the other one here is pretty interesting. Are mer people real? I don't know. We're going to find out, because Mermaid Scales and the Town of Sand by Yoko Komori is a beautifully drawn tale that tries to answer that question. Fall 2022.
So this is the Josei announcement. It was originally a 2-volume series. I don't know if they're going to publish it in 2 volumes or into a single volume for this English release.
Hopefully just one.
I would hope so too, because I enjoy like done in 1 volumes. But we'll see. But the interesting note that I saw from this one is that I saw the like person from Glacier Bay mention that they were trying to license this a while ago, and they said, I guess this is why I didn't get a reply. And so what was interesting about that was like when they said a while ago, how long ago were they trying to license it? And that kind of gave me that like inkling in my head of like, how long does it actually take for these companies to license stuff? And I'm hoping like after I finish my most recent like thing that I have to do for Viz, I'm gonna see if I'm just putting this out there, put it in the universe. Like, I want to see if I can interview someone and ask them questions about how the licensing process works, so that I can like, because people are always for lack of a better term, complaining when like their most wanted item does not get announced.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's series that have not really been running for very long. Like, for instance, Oshi no Ko is a very popular one right now that people ask for. It's only been running for a little while. It has 6 volumes in Japan. So I'm like, how long does it take for them? Like, if they optioned to license it, how long would it take for that license to get approved and for them to be able to announce it? So that's what I'm hoping to be able to ask someone about.
Yeah. Here is something that I am a little excited about. It is Drip Drip, a one-shot graphic novel from Haruhi Tagaki of Beastars fame. I say that because I'm mostly excited for the art, because I already read this and I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I'll probably get it just because I want to support Paru.
It's the one where she gets a nosebleed when she touches things that are impure, right?
Yeah. It starts out kind of funny, and then it turns into like one of those Korean horror stories. It goes places. It's pretty wild. I'm not saying it's a horror manga or anything. It's just it has elements of different things. It's not. Don't take it at face value. There's a lot of stuff that happens in that. It's like 8 chapters.
I'm excited.
But the art is great.
I'm excited because, like you said, I'm also a fan and want to support Haruhi Tagaki. So I'm excited to pick it up. I'm glad that they licensed it. And I'm hoping they do some of her other, because she has a few other like short stories that haven't been translated. Also, I got go ahead. I posted that like a video about this series on my TikTok, and it got flagged because
of the image.
Yeah, because of the blood.
Oh, TikTok never ceases to amaze me. So the thing that I wanted to mention, little trivia, if you're wondering why is it called Drip Drip, because the series in Japan is called Bota Bota. It's the sound of a droplet hitting the floor. Bota Bota, drip 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 drip. That's the
onomatopoeia.
Thank you. There we go. Forgot the word. And this was inevitable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all knew this was going to happen, and we all knew Viz was the one that's going to make it happen. A nerd must fight powerful spirits and aliens, all vying for the secret power of his family jewel. So who better to fight alongside him than his high school crush and spirit granny, Dandadan by Yukinobu Tatsu, drops fall 2022. This is a huge book. A lot of people are going to be excited. I've read a little bit of it, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, this is the one that like in the when was the previous October announcements?
I think so.
After I made a video about those, a ton of people were like, "Where the heck's Dandadan?" It was this one and Oshinoko, and now that Dandadan's been done, it's Oshinoko. And I saw a few people complaining about Boys Abyss. Then I saw people asking about Ashita no Joe, but Ashita no Joe is a Kodansha series, so I was just like, they wouldn't be the ones to license that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this series just screams Viz Media, just the style of it and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wasn't surprised. And you can read it now for free on the what the other app? What's it called?
Manga Plus.
Manga Plus. Yeah, you can read it in Spanish and English and all the other languages. So yeah, I'll be getting this for sure. It's a fantastic series. We also had this announcement, which is great.
Yes.
Not because of this title specifically, but the implications of it, right?
Yes.
Being the head of a spy family, Mitsumi's friendship with Tayo is put to the test when her overprotective brother seeks to kill him. The solution: get married. Mission: Yozakura Family by Hitsuji Gondaida releases fall 2022. Go ahead.
It is a very fun series that I recommend. I compare it a lot in style, like the way that the story is told and how it kind of unfolds to Reborn, Katekyo Hitman Reborn, because it starts off as more of like a comedy type series, and then it slowly but surely changes into being more of an action shonen. So it has that same basic structure as how Reborn unfolded. But this, like Gio said, the implications of this solicitation are huge, because this, as many people know, this was digital only at first. This was only the volumes themselves were only available digitally. And what I mean, if you're unaware, if you're unfamiliar with the term, that doesn't mean like, of course, the chapters are available to read digitally on like the Viz and Shonen Jump apps, but the volumes themselves, you can go onto like Amazon and buy a volume of the series, and it has, all the in-between chapter pages and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So this is one of the few. I personally, I know someone told me before that like there was like a Vampire Knight series that was digital first and then got physical. This one is one of the few that has happened for, where it was digital first and then physical. And what we're excited about is that means that the possibility opens up that other digital first titles can get physical release down the line.
Yep.
So fingers crossed, because there are some that like a lot of different digital first series that people would love to see physically, including some of the ones that were shown in at the end of these announcements.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest ones that people wish would happen that is already a digital first is probably Witch Watch, because Witch Watch was not a canceled series, unlike most of the ones that do go digital first. Okay, that's all we want to say on that.
I think that's great, and we can finally, or I can finally collect stuff like Mori King and what's the other one I like that you didn't like? Magu-chan. I'm a big fan of that one, and I would like to own that. And I saw comments on Twitter of people like, "Oh, why would you do that? Nobody's gonna buy this. Why are you doing this?" I'm like, guys, chill, please. Everybody wants to buy all the titles. It's not just about Dandadan and like the really popular ones.
Yeah, I say that like whenever I do announcement videos, I've learned that people get so like crappy about stuff, and they're like, "No one wants this. This is terrible." I say every time, I say, not everything is for everyone, but there's some, like every single item is something that someone is going to want to pick up.
Yeah, good point.
Please just be respectful when you look at that stuff. Keep in mind that while it might not be for you, it is definitely here for someone else.
Yep.
The next one is definitely for me, though.
Oh, this one's great. Announcement. Taiki plays badminton, Chinatsu plays basketball. Do these sports cross lovers stand a chance? Blue Box by Koji Miura drops fall 2022. This is a great series, and we
Yeah.
talked about it on this channel. We did a video with Adonis, if I remember correctly, reviewing the latest manga that debuted at that time last year.
Super highly recommended. This is a great sports romance type series.
Yep.
Fantastic artwork, very good story. It's been a minute since I'm not caught up on these series yet. It's been a minute, but when I was reading it weekly, it was one of my favorites each week. And I wish that I had actually made predictions. Like someone on Twitter asked me what I would like to see, and I just rambled off a bunch of my like pipe dream solicitations and announcements. But if I was to have actually predicted what we would see, it was going to be Don and Blue Box, because it was like there was no doubt with the popularity that this series has, both stateside and in Japan. There was no doubt that it would be getting a physical release, and I'm like also sure an anime adaptation will come in the next like year or two.
Oh, for sure. So definitely do recommend getting that. Now this one was pretty interesting. Here is a grim take on Grim Tales, where the hunted becomes the hunters. The Hunters Guild Red Hood by Yuki Kawaguchi. This was canceled not too long ago. It hasn't been a year, and it's gonna get physical editions. I don't know how to feel about that.
2 or 3 volumes long. A lot of people, this is one that a lot of people were definitely saying, like, what's the point? Like, why are they doing that? Why are they doing this series instead of this series? Why release a canceled title? It's not the first time. They've got at least half a dozen other canceled titles that have been released in the past, specifically under the Shonen Jump label. But the common thing that those had is typically they're from a familiar creator. So like Gunblaze West from you know who, Samurai 8 from Mr. Naruto, Zombie Powder from Mr. Bleach. Those are just a few of the things. What's the School Judgment from half of Mr. Death Note? Those, you see that they're all like familiar creators and stuff. Barrage from Mr. My Hero. This is by an assistant to Horikoshi, but doesn't have any other work under his belt as far as I last looked. I don't know if he started something recently, but the reason I think they decided to print this one is because the like outpour of love for this series was so huge with the Western audience. It wasn't there really with the Eastern, like Japanese audience, but here in America, people freaking loved this book and were very upset when it got canceled.
Yeah, it had a good reception.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything that special, but there were a ton of people who were very upset when this got canceled. And so I think that looking at that, they were like, okay, like so many people love this one. We can print this one physically and it will definitely sell. I don't think that there's always a chance for anything to happen because that's just how the world works. That's how chance works and the multiverse and all that shit. But like, I don't think that there's any strong chance that sales doing well on this mean that the series could come back in any sort of format.
Oh no.
That's not really on the table. I've seen some people like hoping that would happen. Like, you know, I'm gonna tell you there's a 1% chance of that happening. If it happens, I will happily be wrong. I will very happily be wrong, but I don't want you to get your hopes up and think that that's what's gonna happen here.
Yeah. Plus, you know, being associated with My Hero Academia, that sort of art style really blends itself well to being sold. But what I was confused about was because you already had good series that are digital exclusives that I would have put out in print first compared to this. I would have waited on this for a little bit. But we'll talk about that at the end of the solicits. Warren is asking, how long is Blue Box? Ongoing, short, or what? But our good buddy James already answered, still ongoing. Yeah. Okay, so the next one, when I saw this, I'm like, that's all right. Go Beyond the Promised Neverland with a short story collection from the master storytellers themselves. Includes an epilogue chapter to the hit series, Kaiju Shirai and Posca Demizu Beyond the Promised Neverland. I'm not a huge fan of the series, so this is going to be a pass for me.
I did really enjoy the series. I didn't watch the anime where they screwed it up royally, apparently.
That was bad.
But for anyone who is a fan of the series, this, like the blurb says, it does have the epilogue chapter, so you'll want to pick it up for that. And then it also includes other stuff like well, I don't remember what it was titled. They had a short story that came out not too long ago, and one of my acquaintances online, like content creator acquaintances, was like, this is 100% this one shot was released just to pad out the material for this volume to eventually get printed.
Yeah. So it'll be a total of how many volumes for Promised Neverland?
There's 20 for the main series, and then this little like short story add-on.
Oh, that sucks. Now they need to do more one shots so you can do 22.
Have it. I wonder if this is. I don't want people to like think that I'm saying it will happen. Like I'm just wondering. I'm just thinking aloud. I wonder if after this that they would consider doing a box set for the series. Because 21 books is about like perfect size to fit into a box.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Oh, Lars, I got some suggestions for you. Don't worry, buddy. I got you. Next up, it wouldn't be a Viz announcement thing without Junji Ito, right?
Yep.
Black Paradox, Junji Ito's legendary sci-fi thriller about four people in search of the perfect death. It's Junji Ito.
This is a story, like a singular volume story, similar to
Ramina and stuff.
Censor, stuff like that. So this is not going to be a short story collection. This one, it's like 5 or 6 chapters about these characters and stuff. So very exciting. This was one of the other like longer form stories that had not been released in English. So I'm glad that they're doing this one. The one that I'm still like crossing my fingers that we'll see is his longest series, which is Rasputin.
Oh yeah,
6 volumes long, about a guy that like compares himself. It's not about Rasputin. It's a guy that like compares himself to Rasputin.
Fun fact: we were doing a disco day at work, and the Rasputin song from Money. What's the name of the disco group?
Rasputin.
Yeah, that was playing. So now you mentioned this. I'm like, I've been getting a lot of Rasputin vibes lately. What's happening? It's a sign that something's gonna happen.
That song is a vibe right there.
I love that song, but the lyrics, they're crazy. And I recently saw the what's the movie? The Kingsman prequel thing.
Yeah.
Which Rasputin is also in it, and in the trailer for him, they used the song. I'm like, oh my gosh, are we doing a resurgence on this guy? Come on. But yeah, going back to Junji Ito, I would love that manga.
They missed their chance. Like now was the perfect chance for them to do the announcement for the Rasputin series. Then.
Oh yeah. What else are we missing before we continue from Ito?
From Ito, so I've mentioned it before like multiple times. I have a second Ito video coming up where I'm going to talk about this stuff. Let me grab my notes on my computer. In that video, I'm going to give an overview and kind of review of where's my notes? Of Deserter, the stories that are in that, show that and stuff, and then also talk about what's included in Love Sickness, and then the other release since my old Ito video was Censor, and then I'm going to talk about this and the other upcoming release, which is the Liminal Zone, and then go over everything that's missing. So the main stuff that's missing is There's a book called Mimi's Ghost Stories, and it's 6 short stories. The 6-volume Rasputin the Patriot. And then the rest of it is pretty much just short stories. There's his specials and one-shots that I don't know if they're collected anywhere. There's Demon's Voice, Fixed Face, Layers of Fear, Mountain of Gods, Precipice of the Unknown, She is a Slow Walker, Snow White, Ghost Heights Management Association, The Summer Graduation Trip, Kaoko-sama and I, and the thing he did for the movie The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
And then there are a bunch of stories from the horror comic collection that have not been released in English. And these are the short stories that his like story collections are made out of. And there's like at least, I'm going to say, just looking at it, 36 different stories there that haven't been translated.
And he also has a digital only series from 2020, I think, because he was doing it through an online thing in Japan. And it was pandemic related or something. I'm not too sure, but I do know it was digital only from like a creator thing, not published through any major platform.
I'm going to look into that to make sure that I mention it on my thingy.
Yeah, because I do remember when that was ending. I remember chatting it either here or with you guys privately on our manga chat or whatever. I don't know. Mars says, really have not enjoyed anything I've read by Ito. My favorite Ito book, aside from Uzumaki, that I recommend to people is Frankenstein. I really love that adaptation, and I recommend it if you haven't checked it out. If you have, well, that's okay.
Yeah, a lot of people, I'm not highlighting in particular, but like I see a lot of people when I either talk about a creator that I enjoy or like something similar will be like, almost like they feel bad, like, you know, I'm not a fan, I can't get into him or whatever. And it's like,
I know what you mean.
It's absolutely fine. Like I don't want to sound flippant and say like I don't care, but like, you know, like I don't care, that's fine. Like you don't have to be a fan of something. You're never required. It's not like you're a worse manga fan for not enjoying the works of
You're not gonna lose your manga cred or card.
Like everyone has like the popular stuff that they don't like. It's fine. You're not under the, I mean, you shouldn't be under the spotlight of the world's like coming down on you and being like, how dare you not enjoy the works of Junji Ito? There are people who are going to say that stuff to you, just as like there are people all the time who talk to me and tell me that like my opinions are crappy. Who cares? Like what? Just live your life, enjoy what you enjoy. If you want to try more Ito work, go for it. If you don't, no one's going to like write you up at your job for it or something, or ground you.
I'm sorry, but I love this comment. Does Junji Ito sneeze and out comes a dozen manga?
Yeah, like freaking Stephen King.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Is Ito the most prolific mangaka in the history of manga? Because it seems like he's written more titles than there are atoms in the universe.
Actually, I feel, since you said Atom, I feel like Tezuka might have the most different series. Like I've looked into it, and that dude, so many series. It's insane.
Yeah. At one point, I toyed with the idea, like, what if I do a Tezuka collection? I'm like, nah, too many titles. I don't care.
Yeah, even just the stuff that's been released in English is like too many titles.
Yeah. There's one coming out soon, or just got solicited, for like May, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, there are a lot that are coming out soon. Okay, this one.
There you go. You're the JoJo expert. Here is the next announcement.
The spin-off of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure universe, straight out of Diamond is Unbreakable, comes Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe by Hirohiko Araki, drops fall 2022. This is, okay, so Netflix has adaptations of 4 out of the 8 stories of the Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe series so far. They're pretty fun adaptations if you just want to get a taste of them. But basically, these are little side stories, little gaidens or whatever about Rohan doing things around the time of Diamond is Unbreakable. There are some that happen like obviously around the time because the other characters will appear, but it's him on like little solo adventures and stuff. Yeah. Very interesting. They get kind of creepy and kind of violent at times as well. I'm extremely excited. I've been hoping that this would happen, and it was one of those things where it was like it seems like it's inevitable, but you never know. And at the same time, like even though I was hoping and thinking like this is pretty inevitable, I didn't think they would solicit it so soon.
Mm-hmm.
So very exciting. The next question is it going to be an all-in-one edition because there's only 2 volumes so far, or is it going to be the single volume editions? If it's the single volumes, I hope that they're oversized so that they match at least with the hardcovers. If it's an all-in-one, the only other thing to say about that's a little bit bad is like this is still technically ongoing. He does stories, Araki does, every once in a while, and they I think there's another one that's supposed to come out in the next couple months, a new Kishibe. Stone Ocean should be physical next summer.
Yeah.
August, I think. So yeah.
Although it says here, the spin-off straight out of Diamond is Unbreakable, blah, 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 drops fall 22. If it were a volume 1, maybe they would have typed like the first volume drops fall. I don't know, but
we'll find out soon enough. Also, if you're interested in stuff like this, there is already one Rohan story that is available physically in English, Rohan at the Louvre, which is a graphic novel. It's oversized, like it's the same size as like the Berserk hardcovers and stuff. And last I checked, it's pretty readily available for cover price, which is I think less than $20.
Yeah. One day, if I make room, I want to collect JoJo's, but I don't have room for it. So digital for me. Next up is something really awesome.
Big.
Also, check this out. With my 7777. That's pretty cool. Look Back is a heart-wrenching single-volume story about the struggles of being an artist from Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man. We all knew this was going to happen. This one-shot was great, and it's an easy sell for manga fans.
Absolutely. It's if you haven't read it, it is available on the Shonen Jump and Viz Media apps. I believe it's available for free, so whether you subscribe or not, it's like 140 pages.
Yeah.
It's extremely emotional, very, very well drawn and well written. It's like you read it and it's like, damn, this is by the same dude who did Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch. There is one scene in there I feel like you read that and you're like, okay, yeah, this is the same guy. But yeah, it's super, super, super awesome. I don't think that the physical edition, at least not the Japanese one, I don't think it comes with any additional material. I think it's just the 140 page story.
Yeah. Pretty bare bones.
Yeah.
More light novels. Spinning out of the world of Jujutsu Kaisen is Summer of Ashes and Autumn of Dust. Pretty Pokemon-inspired names there. You're not a light novel guy like myself, so we're probably going to pass on this one.
Yeah, I don't really do light novels, but I know people that are fans of JJK, which I am. I know people who are big fans of that and who are also light novel readers are really excited for these, so that is awesome. But that's the last of the physical announcements. After this, it was just the 4 digital series.
So digital only, we have a Viz digital exclusive. Only a manga artist can solve a puzzling murder committed on Halloween in this mystery manga by Yu-Gi-Oh! Creator Kazuki Takahashi. The comic releases summer 2022. This should be fun. I want to read it.
I hope that it gets a physical because I think it's just a volume. I don't think it's anything more than that. But either way, I hope it gets a physical because I really enjoy Takahashi. His Marvel book is coming out soon. His one with Iron Man and Spider-Man. It's basically Yu-Gi-Oh! With Marvel characters because the bad guy is someone who invented some sort of card game, I think.
Yeah, so maybe they'll test the waters and see if it sells well, and we'll get a physical edition later on.
Fingers crossed.
Here's the one that upset me.
Yep.
Because even though the series was canceled, I wanted to see this printed. before the Red Hood stuff, because
Yep.
I think this would sell really well. Phantom Seer is getting a digital only exclusive release thingamajig.
Yeah, yeah. This is the one that, like, above everything else, I'm hoping we'll get a physical release after we saw Mission Yazakura Family.
Yeah. So that is getting a release digitally. And from another manga creep, Mitsutoshi Shimabukuro is what the hell is this called?
Build King.
Build King. Sorry, I'm not a fan of this guy. Sorry, but people like it, so yay.
The notable thing on this one is it ran, I think, for 20 chapters, and then there's supposed to be a final chapter only in the collected editions. So if you were a fan of the book, then the only way basically to read that final chapter officially in English would be through these. I don't know how many volumes, like 3 or 4 or something, but it should be tacked onto the end of the last volume.
Yeah. And last but not least, the final one, another canceled series.
Yep.
Is I Tell C coming out. Digital only.
I did not really care much for this series.
I thought the premise was wacky, but I only read like 3 chapters and forgot to keep going. Then I heard it was canceled. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm not going to finish it.
It was a decent idea. Like, the main character is a detective, but like when she tries to solve crimes, she falls in love with the suspect or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, that concept is interesting, but I don't feel like it was really pushed on very heavily.
Yeah.
So it wound up not really being that interesting in the end. I don't know. I didn't really care for it too much. It just didn't really do much for me.
Yeah. From a psychological point, like an examiner would have a field day with a concept like that.
Yeah.
But the manga can sometimes lean towards the comedy / weeb aspect to it, where she's like head over heels, crazy girlfriend type, falling for a criminal or a suspect. So I don't know. So that's that, guys. That's all the stuff that we got. A lot of cool stuff. Definitely, if this was physical, I would recommend Phantom Seer. Definitely be on the lookout for Look Back, JoJo's, Ito. Riley will get Promised Neverland. I'll skip it. Sorry.
I will.
Red Hood, probably, because I like werewolves a lot. Blue Box is a great manga. Yosakura Family, sure, why not? Dandadan, I know it's going to sell extremely well. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to get the same hype as Chainsaw Man, but not yet. And give it a few. And I could see these volumes selling out pretty quickly. Drip Drip or Bota Bota is fun. Kind of creepy, but fun. This I'm going to get because why not? And these two are not for me, but they sound pretty cool.
I'm probably going to try the color one.
Yeah.
See how that one goes, just because it's in color.
Warren can't stand digital anything. Hopefully you can stand us, because we're digital right now. See what I did there?
I used to like not want to do any digital anything, period. But then like I started reading digital stuff, and there's like a lot of ease behind it in a lot of cases. Like when I'm traveling, like if I just want to bring my tablet with me so I can read from there instead of bringing multiple volumes, that's always really convenient.
So we're going to answer just a couple questions, 2 more minutes before we wrap up. By the way, before we go, I got to clear my name here. I misspoke about the Rasputin song. I said money and it's Boney M. My bad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Just mixing some letters up.
Yeah, because people are going to think, oh, look at this guy talking about that song that he likes and not knowing who sings it. Okay, so questions that I missed. Let's go back a little bit. N-Man says Seven Seas should be announcing reprints of some series, although there might be some licensing issues with some older series. I guess you never know. I'm pretty sure they're going to announce some stuff soon because it's every Wednesday. They got new announcements. That's insane to me. Gio, you don't want them to be like Kirito, the other Black Swordsman? No, you should be ashamed, Cleveland Brown. I'm not a fan of Kirito. Was it Vampire Night Memories that was available digital first? That has seen a number of physical releases now. I have no
That might
idea.
have been it. I don't know. I'd have to consult the comments on the video I did in like October.
Yeah. I'm guessing the people who bought Black Torch in their collection are probably going to buy this. This was about the cancel stuff. Yeah.
Black Torch, I think when the first volume came out in English, it hadn't yet been it wasn't yet canceled. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I remember buying it, and then it was later that someone was like, oh, that series got canceled. But
yeah,
it had a decent end. Like for a canceled series, 5 volumes, it was pretty good.
Yeah. I'm sorry enjoying the show. Thank you for enjoying the show. Hit the like button, guys, before you leave. But none of the titles you have presented I have no interest in reading. Perfectly fine. Not that I don't like manga, but more realistic takes like Otomo, Ikigami, Taniguchi, etc. Perfectly fine. Don't worry.
More of a Gekiga person, because those are all like Taniguchi and stuff. They're all people who are more well known for creating books that fall into the Gekiga umbrella of things.
Just the last question. I have the first volumes of Evangelion and have not read them. Is it a series you recommend? With Evangelion, I'll always recommend the show, honestly. But a lot of people like the manga.
It's not very realistic, though.
Yeah.
There's robots, like giant robots and monsters, so you're not going to find anything that would appear in like a Jiro Taniguchi
or Taniguchi book. Yeah. Watch the show and then come back to the manga, because the idea was, even though the manga came out around the same time because they were developed simultaneously, the idea was it to be a show first. So do check out the show and then check out the manga to see if you like it. I have so many. I don't have time for light novels. I do want to read some light novels like ReZero, Overlord, and something else I'm forgetting, but I am interested in them. I'm
too like heavily afflicted with the ADHD.
Have most of these announced titles been available digital only previously? It seems some people already know everything about them already, or have they been available in other ways prior? I mean, they're on the app, on the Viz Shonen Jump app and the Manga Plus, so people know them from there, I think.
I mean, some of them are. I don't know about like, because there were ones that I looked up. When I haven't read something like, when these announcements were coming out for the first several things, I looked up information about the light novels. I looked up information about the Rainbow, was it Rainbow Days or whatever it was called? I looked up information about Romantic Killer, the colored one, the Mermaid Scales one. I looked up all of those titles and looked up the synopses, information about how many volumes it was, because I wanted to make sure that like if I'm talking about it, that I can give proper information, because some of the like tweets that Viz gave didn't really give a very good synopsis of the series. And also because that helps me decide if I want to buy it. Like their tweet doesn't always give me enough information to make a decision. So basically, I find that information out so that the anyone who I'm talking to can also have additional information to make their own decision, just like I need.
Yeah. Final question. Travis, favorite rom-com manga?
Cross Game.
That's a good one. A little bit more modern, although you guys already know what I'm going to say. I do enjoy Rent a Girlfriend. I thought that was, or I think that's a cool modern rom-com. Maison Ikoku, Yurusei Yatsuda, Love Hina, Ranma.
Basically anything that
Takahashi.
yeah, because she perfectly melds like fantasy romance, sci-fi romance, action romance.
Yeah. And I love Tolga. He is a wonderful person. So this is the last question. Never read Dragon Ball. Now got DBZ with a very good deal. Do I have to start with Dragon Ball? No.
The majority of people in the States
Get exposed to
were
the series via.
exposed by Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Because that was what was out. Like Dragon Ball was not released until later. So you can go into it and like basically in the first episode you're just going to be like, "Oh, hey, there's a guy and a green guy." But like you because the tone shifts so much. Like if you go back to Dragon Ball and read all the way through, it's like martial arts with some like fantasy elements, and then all of a sudden it gets to Dragon Ball Z where it just like takes a hard heel turn into like sci-fi action by introducing the fact that freaking Goku is a alien.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was just like, oh, he's some random kid with a tail based on, you know, Sun Wukong, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's such a heel turn. Though I will say the one thing that I really appreciated that I didn't realize before was when I realized that the Red Ribbon Army was in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like back when I because as a kid it's like, oh man, the Red Ribbon Army, the androids, blah 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 blah, like all this cool stuff, and then you find out that like there's actually was an army. Like
they've been around for a while.
Yeah, that was a cool thing for me to find out as a teenager or whatever it was.
Also, I want to highlight this since we're talking about rom-coms. We should do an episode of rom-coms. You know what? I'm going to work that out for March. Rom-com episode. Okay. Kaguya-sama, yes, I forgot about that. That's a great series. And Nisekoi, I never finished it, but what I've read and seen, I dug. So I do recommend it.
And the guy who sent me a copy of Nisekoi 13 is a national treasure. Because that book is very hard to find still.
But if you do want to get cool books at great discount prices when they come out, and some that are already out, you have to visit our sponsor for tonight's episode. That is, of course, InStockTrades.com, your home for all things collected editions, whether it be an omnibus, hardcover, trade paperback, or manga. You get it at InStockTrades.com. Discounts range from 50 to even 65% off. You got to check the homepage for all the awesome daily deals, fantastic customer service, and wonderful packaging at InStockTrades.com, your home for collected editions and the official sponsor of Omnibros Live here on the Omnibus Collectors Network. Shout out to IST. So that's it for tonight. Tomorrow is going to be, like I said at the beginning of the episode, a mixed media type of show. We're going to cover comic book stuff and movies and releases and media night, all that fun stuff. So be sure to stick around for that. Hit the like button on your way out. Share the video if you want to help us out and help the channel keep growing to reach new audiences. And that's it. Thank you to the chat. You guys are awesome, as always. Thank you to everybody watching later. Leave a comment down below. What are some of the books that you're most excited for out of everything that we mentioned? And, of course, Riley, where can people find you on the internet when you're not doing this show?
The Omnibus Collector on YouTube and on the TikTok as well, if you have it.
There you go.
Twitter and Instagram sometimes when I feel like it.
All right. Jeff is the MVP right now. That's what I like to hear.
Keep the channel going.
Keep the channel going. All right. Never give up and never surrender. That's it. I'm out. Good night, everybody. Stay safe. Catch you on the next stream.